Anyway, joining us now with reaction, former senior Trump advisor Stephen Miller, Fox News contributor Katie Pavlich, and Fox News contributor Ari Fleischer. Welcome all of you to the program. Katie, we start with you.
Thank you.
All right, can you pull off, you co-sponsored the new Green Deal, Medicare for all, eliminate private health care, no fracking, no drilling, defund, dismantle, no bail laws, and free health care, housing, and education, and decriminalizing illegal immigration. But never mind. Does that work?
Look, Sean, she's been accused of being a flip-flopper, and I would say she hasn't flip-flopped on anything unless we hear directly from her why she has changed her policy positions on these big issues, not just a little, tinkering here around the edges, 180-degree turns on mandates from the government about what kind of cars you're going to drive, a destruction of the American energy system. The list goes on until she comes out herself and explains to everyone she's asking to vote for her policy positions from the 2019-2020 presidential campaign, her record as the most far-left senator, even further left to Bernie Sanders in the Senate, and her record as Attorney General, where she took glee in ruining people's lives with the stroke of a pen. It's exactly what the American people should take her at her word with. And when it comes to her record, now and what she's trying to run away from, if her far-left record was actually popular with the American people, it's very clear that her campaign is doing some polling here, and they're realizing that Trump's agenda is actually very popular among the American people, which is why they are stealing a number of his policy proposals. And finally, all of this is so fake. I mean, the convention was fake. Her policy position changes are fake through these anonymous aides. And when you're being fake, you're being dishonest, and you're lying to the American people. And when you're lying to them, you're disrespecting them. So we'll see if she can get away with it with this media propaganda machine. But she's really taking for granted that the American people are going to buy it.
Ari, you're the communications expert. How does one pull that off? My only fear, I am convinced that if the American people know her in her own words, she can't win. I think her campaign knows she can't win. Otherwise, they wouldn't. No, I've never seen any one candidate flip-flop and flail like this. Okay. However, ballots go out in North Carolina, a week, 10 days. Then we got Pennsylvania 2 weeks from today. Early voting starts, and other states follow immediately thereafter. There's not a lot of time. And John McLaughlin 2 weeks ago had a poll out saying 70 to 80% of Americans don't know these radical positions she has taken.
Sean, there's only one way a candidate like Kamala Harris can get away with it, and that's if the Democratic media industrial complex helps her get away with it. The only people who really do know her positions are people who watch conservative news. Even the people who are moderate in the middle, they're not getting the real dose of who she is because it's being withheld from her. Just like they withheld everything about the Hunter Biden laptop. Or the whole 4 years that have gone by, they withheld information about Joe Biden, and now they're doing it to protect Kamala Harris. And so it's incumbent on Donald Trump personally and the Trump campaign to bring these issues to the voters. It's up to Dana Bash in her interview that she has on Thursday night to bring these issues to voters. I've never in my life seen a candidate run for office who says, I don't want to talk to anybody in the media. I can win without them. That's her strategy. And what the White House press corps and the National Press Corps have to realize is whatever pattern she sets now will be the same pattern she sets if she wins. So their failure to hold her to account right now is going to be repeated if she gets into the White House. So it's up to the press to actually do what they're supposed to do and hold a light to all the various positions she has changed her position on.
They're not going to do it.
We're going to find out from Dana on Thursday night. That'll be our first clue. But so far they haven't. So far they've just acquiesced, as she hasn't done a single interview for more than a month. That's what I meant, Sean, about the Democratic media industrial complex. If she wins, it's because they work together.
It's the deep state. Look at what we'll get into this in a second, what they did with big tech, and it's big tech also. Let me bring in Steve Miller.
That's the point. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, those are powerful institutions. Stephen. Yeah.
She was the most liberal DA in America. She was the most liberal state attorney general in America. Then she became the most liberal senator in America. For the last 4 years, she's been the most liberal vice president in America. And if she were to become the president, she would be our first communist president. Those are the stakes, Sean. Donald Trump isn't just running against her. He's running against an entire corrupt system, a corrupt DOJ and corrupt special prosecutor, a corrupt corporate media, a corrupt deep state, a corrupt donor class, a corrupt financial class. All the powers who get rich at the expense of working people are trying to stop Donald Trump. This is a people's movement. That's why you see Democrats like RFK, like Tulsi Gabbard, joining the Trump campaign, because this is a populist working class movement to say, we want our country back, we want our freedom back, and we do not want to live under communist rule in America.
You know, the party of freedom and joy, you know, it's pretty interesting to watch this. And I watch them very closely. They want to take away and confiscate your guns. They want you to pay for illegal immigrants housing, health care, education, and take your money. That's a lot of joy in that, a lot of freedom in that. Make you pay. It's the cost of democracy, Kamala said. Higher prices for energy and force EVs into your driveway, whether they say it or not, and take away your private health insurance, put tampons in boys' bathrooms in school, and take away parental rights and be allowed to offer gender-affirming care. That doesn't sound like a freedom party or a joy party to me. That sounds like a BS campaign. But we'll see. That message better resonate. People better. Hannity.com. The Kamala Files, the Walls Files. Share it with everybody you know. Thank you all. I'm deputizing the entire audience because the media won't do their job. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.